The book of 2 Kings records the final turbulent years of Israel and Judah set against the rise of empires like Assyria. The once united kingdom had split Israel in the north, Judah in the south. By chapter 18, Israel has fallen, conquered and erased by Assyria. Now only Judah remains, its capital Jerusalem facing the same existential threat. The Assyrians, masters of warfare and psychological terror, loom over Judah, threatening total destruction. Into this crisis steps King Hezekiah, ruling a small, vulnerable nation caught between Assyria and Egypt. Many kings before him compromised faith for survival, but Hezekiah's response would be radically different. Understanding this context is key to grasping the courage and faith that define Hezekiah's story. Hezekiah ascended the throne of Judah at just 25 years old, inheriting a kingdom deeply wounded by his father Ahaz's years of idolatry and spiritual neglect. The people's faith had been shaken, and the nation's identity was in crisis. Judah was not only spiritually adrift, but also politically weakened, forced into humiliating submission and heavy tribute to the mighty Assyrian Empire. Yet, unlike his father, Hezekiah refused to follow the path of compromise. He boldly chose a course of radical reform, determined to restore his people's faith and independence. Hezekiah reopened and purified the long-neglected temple, reinstated the priests to their sacred duties, and revived the great Passover festival, inviting all of Israel to return to worship. He went further, destroying every pagan shrine and idol, even the ancient bronze serpent of Moses, which had become an object of false worship among the people. These sweeping acts were not just spiritual renewal, but also bold political defiance, signaling Judah's determination to break free from Assyrian domination and reclaim its destiny. Hezekiah's unwavering trust in God set him apart from every king before him, inspiring his people to hope once more. But this faith would soon face its greatest test as the full might of Assyria turned toward Jerusalem, threatening everything Hezekiah had worked to restore. The fate of Judah now rested on Hezekiah's bold commitment to God and his courage to stand firm in the face of overwhelming odds. His sweeping reforms sparked hope and unity among the people, but also provoked a dangerous enemy, setting the stage for a dramatic confrontation that would shape Judah's future. Hezekiah's rebellion drew the wrath of Sennacherib, king of Assyria. The Assyrian army swept through Judah, capturing cities and leaving Jerusalem isolated. Sennacherib's commander, the Rabshakeh, taunted Jerusalem's people in Hebrew, mocking Hezekiah and their faith in God. He warned against trusting Egypt or their God, claiming no nation's gods had saved them from Assyria. The Rabshakeh's words aimed to break their spirit and faith, offering surrender as the only hope. Inside the city, fear and doubt spread. Would they trust God or submit to Assyria? The crisis was not just military, but spiritual faith versus fear. Jerusalem's fate now hung on Hezekiah's response. Jerusalem trembled under the shadow of Sennacherib's vast army, their numbers stretching as far as the eye could see. The city's walls shook with the sound of taunts and threats hurled by the enemy, their words echoing blasphemy and doom. Inside, fear gripped every heart. Families huddled together, uncertain if they would see another dawn, while soldiers stood tense at their posts, eyes fixed on the horizon. In the midst of this terror, King Hezekiah bore the crushing weight of his people's fate. The pressure was immense, the responsibility overwhelming. Alone in his chamber, Hezekiah wrestled with anxiety and despair, his soul torn between fear and hope, knowing that every decision could mean life or death for his nation. The gravity of the moment pressed upon him, forcing him to confront the limits of his own strength before he turned at last to faith. Hezekiah's story is more than just a chapter in history. It is a living foreshadowing of Jesus Christ, filled with meaning for every generation. As a righteous king, Hezekiah restored true worship in a time of spiritual darkness, prefiguring Christ's ultimate cleansing and restoration of God's people. His reforms brought hope and renewal, just as Jesus would later bring spiritual transformation to the world. Hezekiah interceded for his people, pleading for mercy and deliverance, just as Jesus stands as our eternal mediator before God, praying for us and offering himself on our behalf. Sennacherib, the blasphemous enemy who threatened Jerusalem, mirrors Satan, using fear, intimidation, and lies to break faith and sow despair among God's people. Rabshakeh's taunts echo the enemy's tactics today. sowing doubt, confusion, and offering false security in exchange for surrendering our trust in God's promises. This is indeed a cliffhanger. What will become of Jerusalem and King Hezekiah? Are you ready for the next chapter? Just click here and let's find out.